everybody, hello and welcome. Today we're going to be looking at this black folder that's covered in ledger paper. It's kind of different. It's a different folio from the ones we have been doing. It's slightly larger actually, and I've covered this in ledger paper, not the collage paper that I used the last time. So this is what it looks like. I mean, I've started to decorate this one. So it folds out and out. So that's it. So it's quite large. And yours will come with the ledger paper inked up, like this piece. That's the only piece I've managed to get inked so far. And yours will come with proper pieces of ledger paper. This was me just using the scraps up on mine, just kind of make a collage of it really, which I don't dislike, but yours will come with the full sheets of collage paper in it. It's for sale at the moment in my Etsy shop. It's got waterfalls at the back. It's really quite nice, I like it. And it's got a 1-inch spine. So it's quite, it's quite a substantial thing. I think by the time we've finished with it, it's going to be quite nice. So how do we make it? That is the question, is it not? Right, well, we need A3 paper again. And I know some of you have had problems getting this, but it is paper that is 16.5 inches across. And you're going to ask me how tall it is. I think it's, let's have a look, see if we can add these together and get a measurement. Yeah, 11 3/4, something like that anyway. Yeah, it's 11 3/4 height, you might say, and 16.5 across. So if you can't get A3, then whatever you get, that's my start. That's where I'm starting from. Now, Mr. F has kindly made us a schematic, if you like. So there we are. I'll hold this up so you can take a screenshot if you want. Where do I need to be? About there. So take your screenshots and then you'll know what I'm talking about, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to restrict this video to just manufacturing the actual folio. So if you need to go back at any stage, it shouldn't be too long a video for you to plough through. Okay, everybody got the screenshots? Right, let us begin. Right, I haven't made that many of these, so I need that schematic myself. So I've got my scoreboard out and my thing tells me, oh, hello. I'm actually going to start with the inch. So I'm going to be doing mine this way, working that way on. You do, I think that's because I'm left-handed. So if you're right-handed, you'll probably find it easier to do it the other way. So my first score is an inch, which is great, I can do that. So I'm just, this is quite a substantial card. It's exactly the same card from Hobbycraft as the cream card that I used. So I know it's substantial enough. So that's 1 inch. The next bit along is 5 inches from that, which means I need to score at 6. And I know this is kind of back to front, but as I say, I'm pretty sure it's because I'm left-handed. And then the next one along from that is 4 3/4 from the last score line. So that was 6, so it's going to be 10 3/4. And you see, here is where it starts to get awkward for me because I'm crossing my body. So I'm quite often skid out of the groove. Have I ever been in the groove? So that's my inch score line there. That's my additional 5 there, then 4 3/4 to there. So now I've run out of scoreboard. So I'm going to turn this round. So I'm now looking at it that way, yes. So if I do a line on a score on the end that's 1 3/8, I'll be left with a section that's 4 3/8 there. So I'm just going to score at 1 3/8. 1, 1, 2, 3. Score that there. And that's pretty much it for that. So we can set that aside. Now the other bit that we need is, let's just pop that down a second and get the trimmer, is another piece of the card. I omitted to tell you this, it's quite an important part. I've cut mine at 8.5. Oh, I have not. 8 1/4. Sorry, the Amazon man just pushed me through the door. It kind of excited me, so I got that wrong. It's 8 1/4 tall. So here is another piece of A3, just cut to 8 1/4 tall, and it's still 16.5 long. So I want to make the back of the book out of this. So I want, as it says here, cut extra piece of 8 1/4 tall by 6 inches wide and score at 1 inch. So let's cut this at 6 inches wide. We know it's 8 1/4 because Mr. F cut it on the guillotine. So I'm just lining that up the side with my 6 inches. Chop that down. There we are. So it's that piece. This piece, as it stands at the moment, is a remnant. And then it says score at 1 inch. So I've got my 8.5 inches tall, 8 1/4, I'm obsessed with 8.5. 8 1/4 inches tall this way. And I'm just going to score at 1 inch, as the instructions say. And then I'll walk through that again with you, just to be sure that we all know what we're doing. Right, it's kind of difficult to see on black card as well, I understand that. So here we are. The end piece is 1 3/8, and then there's a score. Then there's 4 3/8, another score line. 4 3/4, and another score line. 5 inches, and another score line, which leaves the inch on the end, which is going to be the spine. And then our second piece is 6 inches in total by the same 8 1/4, and I've scored at 1 inch, and that's going to go in the spine as well, just to strengthen the spine. So that's that. So if you've got your screenshot from earlier, we're now ready to proceed, I think. So I'm just going to put my back piece away just now, and we'll just fold these. So you want to fold away from the score line that you've just made. So folding it that way. Sometimes you might have to come back and re-fold them the other way, you know, but we'll go the way we're supposed to for the moment. So that's folded in. Then the next one, and you'll find it does fold very readily, this sort of card anyway. And then the next one, and then the spine. So that's that. Now let's take our other piece, the back piece, and it folds the same way. Sorry, are you after the chopper? No. Mr. F's getting some happy mail already. So, that's exciting, isn't it? So here we've got the spine on this section, here we've got the spine on this section, and they will just get joined like that. So there's nothing stopping us doing that now. Let's do that now. Then we've got our whole thing, which is quite a thing actually when it's all stretched out. It's a really grey, well, it's worse than grey, it's a rainy day here. I've had to put my laundry in the tumble dryer. There's no chance at all of it getting dried outside, unless it's going to dry in the rain. It's the 1st of July, it's a miserable day. I'm fed up of summer being like this. It's going to be over soon, we'll be into autumn and nothing, won't have had any sun. Right, so what I'm going to do is offer this piece up to this piece. Now you want it close, but don't go over that scored line that you put in, because then that will hamper the closing system, which is a fold. The closing system is a fold. Yeah, let's make it sound grand. So I'm just rubbing over this with a towel just in case there's any excess glue. Like that, that's fine. That folds beautifully. Let's just fold that out that way and give that a little bit of a press down. There we go. And that's just not matching up perfectly, so I'm just going to snip that along the top. Straighten it up a bit. Right, there we are. So the next job is putting ledger paper everywhere. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of sort of pages, as it were. So anyway, let's crack on with it. This is my ledger. It's vintage rather than antique or anything, but I think it's probably about 50 years old, that sort of mark. It's got lots of things shoved into it and what have you, and writing on it, which I've tried to avoid because I don't find that very attractive really. These are all my remnants that I'll put in another remnant one. When you order yours, if you want you know, the collage background rather than the straight up ledger paper, just let me know and I'll make it with a collage. Now this has got a safe paper clip on the top, but I quite like it actually. And if you snip the middle of each of your threads in the signatures, you easily get the papers to come out. I don't know how many I need, but I need a good few. There's a single one. Right, we'll leave it at that just now and see how far we get with that. So, it's just straightforward. It's got writing on the back, but it's fine because it doesn't show through to the front side. So, let's make a start with that. Now, I find it easier, particularly with this black, if you put a piece of paper underneath it and then you can see where you need to be going. Because as I say, it's a really grey day here. So I've got that just off the crease line. Pencil. And I can see where that crease line is because it's a little bump. So I'm just going to make a mark there. Get that up to the height that I wanted up there. And make a line down here. So I don't want a very broad black border. But I do want there to be a little black border around the place. So I'm just going to cut this off. Obviously that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to save all of those because I like them. And then trim this off. Probably better that way. I'm just going to, after I've cut it, I'm just going to check it. Because sometimes I can get things wrong. Sometimes quite radically. So let's just check that that fits in there. It fits there quite nicely. I think it's a little bit wide. It's hard to see. I can hardly make out where the Yeah, I think it's a little bit wide. I hope it's bright enough for you, because it's really not that bright. Right, so that's... Oh, that was about right. Just going to take a whisker off. I think that's all it needs. And pop that there and there. Yeah, that looks better now. I can see that crease down there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go around it with Distress Oxide. I'm using ground espresso. If you're doing yours from scratch, obviously, you know, you can use whatever you like. And for papers, you can use whatever you like. You could use a kit, a digital kit if you wanted to. You could use coffee stain paper, you could use music paper. Book pages would look nice. Loads of options. I mean, I'm using the ledger and putting it in the ledger, in the folios for sale, because it's something different. And you can journal on it as well if you want to. So that's that. I'm not really heavily inking around it, just enough. Then I'm going to glue, and you see all this writing on the back, it just doesn't show through, so let's use it up. Is this not the ultimate form of recycling? What do you do? Well, I'm a recycler. I mean, that's what we do. I always feel when I'm printing digikits out that that is not recycling. You know, you're using pristine paper. So I'm always conscious that you have to use every last scrap really to get, well, value for money and not to be wasteful. There we go. Right, let's get this bit on. I've got a bit of glue there that I don't want. So I'm just going to kind of float this until I get it where I think I want it. Like that. Yeah, that's lovely. And that's, yeah, that's fine. Everything lovely. Right, so I'm going to press that down with my hands. Smooth it out. And then when I think it's tacked up a bit, I'm just going to go round it. Make sure it's pressed down firmly. There we are. And then from there, there might be a bit of glue along that bottom, which I don't want. From there, I am just going to go and cover the entire thing. You don't need to see me do that. You really don't. I've stuck it to my paper. What you needed to see was how to fold it. I'm going to, as I say, go ahead and cover all of this, including the spine, inside and out. The only page that I'm not going to cover is the waterfall page, and I'll show you what I do with it that's slightly different when you come back and join me. So I'm off to cover these. You get yourself off for a cup of coffee or whatever, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. This is the back page, which I haven't covered because of the waterfall situation, but this is everything else. You don't need cover this section. Well, I haven't covered that section because I'm going to make it into a little tuck there. So that folds in, that folds in, that folds in, and there we have it. There's our nice little folio. Forgot what we're making. Oh, there's no hope for me at all. Right, so let's get on to the waterfall section with some semblance of sense. Now, The A3 measures 16.5. Our folio from top to bottom measures 8.25. So they just fit. I can cut these in half and they will be just the right length, in theory. So let's do that. I've got 3 waterfall sections in each folio. So let's just get the green machine out and cut these at 8.25. And they need to be pretty darn accurate because I need 2 at 8.25 out of 1 16.5 inch piece. So let's just hope they're okay. So that's 2, and I'm going to do the same with this, which will leave me with a spare one for who knows what. You never know what you might need it for. Right, so I think they should be okay. Oops, let's put that away. So let's have a look and see. Yeah, I think they're not bad. They're not bad. Let's leave it at that, shall we? So what I want to do now is get the scoreboard and score down 1/2 inch on each of these waterfall sections on the long height ways like that. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. I think it's quite an interesting little folio. It's got lots of, you know, folded over bits, and not exactly secret, but you could make them secret. There we are. So that's those 3 scored at 1/2 inch. And just fold those over. Crease them in. And always fold away from this is where my score line is, where there's an indent. Always fold away from that. And start your fold in the centre. That way you'll get a cleaner fold. I'm sure I've told you all this before. But, you know, gentle reminder. So there we are, and just, this is where having a Teflon bone folder absolutely comes into its own, because it doesn't make the black paper shiny. Some of the other bone folders, they do tend to make the black paper shiny. They're great for other things, but a Teflon one, that's a step above. So let's put these in. So I'm going to glue down the flap that we've just folded over, and it's going to sit like that. So it's this part, it's the folded over piece of the flap that we need to stick down. I'm just going to use my collall again, just going radical. I appreciate, collall's stuck. I appreciate it's difficult for you to see black on black, but I was contemplating doing a craft one actually. Let me know what you think. I think craft might look quite nice with Timmy. Got a bit of surplus glue down there, so I'm just going to wipe it off with my finger. And wipe it on that towel. My fingers are just full of glue anyway, so it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. Then butt that up right to that crease, but not over it. So put it down and just check that that's not hampering that at all. No, that's good, that's fine. So give it a good firm press, and you'll see when you open it you will have glue. There's always glue. I'm too heavy-handed with glue. So I'm just going to wipe that up. This bit not so much, there'll be something going over that, but I don't want any here. And I can feel it moving under me, so I'm going to have to check that it's still all right. Yeah, that's still all right. It's level at the bottom. And if it's sticking out a little bit, one of them sticking out a little bit at the top, don't worry, we can resolve that problem. I had to on one of mine. So this is just the final part really. We're nearly there. Trying to steer clear of that crease line. Now then, just butt that up to the one that you've just put down. Make sure it's straight along the bottom and butt it up to that one there. Give it a good firm press down, open it up. Oh, look at all that glue. I was really careful this time. Oh, it hasn't stuck down properly, so let's give it a little longer to stick. It's quite good, this collal, but part of its charm is that it doesn't dry instantly on contact, so you can actually move things. But then that becomes a bit of a bugbear situation. That's it, it's stuck now. So let's just wipe up. There's going to be another waterfall going there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's get the thick of it off. You can do this with your finger if your finger is strong enough. I just find it a bit easier with a not so smooth towel. So this is our third one going on. I'm going to try and be sparing with the glue. Let's see how we get on with that. And butt this one, same as before, right up to the last one. Make sure you square along the bottom, butt it right up. There we go. Lovely. Oh, you see, as sparing as I was, it's still come out the side. So let's wipe this up. There we go, that's fine. And that is that. The only thing we need to look at now is the top of here and make sure that, which you can see, they're not all lying square. So I'm just going to take my ruler, square it up there, square it up at the end, and take my craft knife, my scalpel, and tidy that up. So we don't need that. There we go, that's fine. I think it's only one that was a bit wayward, which probably means another of them is a tiny bit short, but nothing to write home about. So then the only other thing we've got to do is put our ledger paper. I'm just checking to see if I've got any remnants suitable. No, I haven't. On the back there. So I want it to there. So it is hard to see this. I've turned my board over to the pink side to try and make it easier to see, but it's still quite difficult. So let's do that, cut that off there. And I'm cutting the folded piece of paper because it saves me ages in time. There we are. So now I've got all of that. Yay! And I'm going to do mine right up to there. Okay, and I may even come back and put some on there, but not in one piece like this. So let's just mark off the width that we want. About there, where that red line is. A little bit more. There we go. just check we're doing all right. All right, all right, all right. Yep, that's lovely. So just ink around that, stick it on, and as they say, Bob's your uncle. It's quite difficult inking this because it's very, very thin. But I don't really care if it's tidy or not. I don't want it to be even. You know, sometimes when you're making pretty things, you want a nice, even edge around it. I'm not fussed with this one. I don't know what abuse it's going to have to suffer. Right. There we go. Let's put some glue on this and congratulate ourselves on a job well done. If you have any problems about measurements or you don't quite understand what I mean, just comment below and I will endeavour to do my very best to help you, because I'd like as many people as possible to make this, and or buy it from the Etsy shop if you don't feel inclined to make it or you haven't got the things that you need, and then we can all join in making our folio. Tim Holtz might not be your thing. You might want to make the folio in cream card and make it floral. I could see that. I don't have to be persuaded too much to make things floral. Right, so let's get that there and that there. And that's just sitting nicely there. Excellent. Push that up a little bit. That's great. Right. So when you visit me again, which will be soon, very soon, sooner than you think soon, we will be inking the background pages. And I'll show you how to do it. Those of you that have bought one from me, yours is pre-inked, ready to go. Those of you that are making your own, I'll show you how to do it, so you can decide whether you want to do it or not and what colours you want to use. So there we have it. That's that. Once they're dry, which they're probably quite dry now, just go over them and squash them down. Burnish them, I think is the correct word, rather than go and squash them down. So that's our waterfalls. That folds in like that. There's our folio. Nice, very nice. So yeah, that's me done on the actual construction of it. Then I'll do one on the inking of it, you know, the splattering of the ink and what have you. Then I think we're ready to go after that. So I'll see you really, really soon. Take care. Bye.